Welcome back. Riots in Baltimore now putting another failing American city in the spotlight. It's been run by Democrats for more than 50 years. So the question this morning, are liberal policies to blame for the chaos there?
Here to react, former Congressman and Fox News contributor, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Thanks for being with us.
Morning, Colonel.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking. So you say that liberals are embracing the Rahm Emanuel mantra of never let a good crisis go to waste and really capitalizing politically on Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, and now Baltimore.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what they're trying to do is they're stirring up a sentiment and emotion, but they're not talking about the real issue. Just earlier in your program, you had on two individuals that talked about the out-of-wedlock birth rate and the number of single households there in Baltimore, 64%. But what we need to realize is there was 50 years ago, as part of the Great Society programs, Lyndon Johnson, he said that we would give a check to a woman who had a child out of wedlock, and as long as she kept the man out of the house, she would continue to get a check. Now, thankfully, that mother that you showed in Baltimore went out and took care of her son, but that was one of 6 children. And where was the father in that case? Where was the dad? So the out-of-wedlock birth rate in the black community nationally now is at 72%. I believe it's close to 58% in the Hispanic community. And that is one of the problems that we see in the inner city, the lack of the coherent family.
Colonel West, if you look at it, the city council has been exclusively Democratic. School leaders are Democrats. Leaders of major unions are Democrats there on the ground. And I wonder, and when you see the mayor, who's a Democrat, what you would do differently. You were just talking about wedlock births. What would you do differently if you were in charge of this city? Because you're a conservative who doesn't like government programs. How do you deal with these problems? What would you do differently?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd go back to the fundamental principles of Booker T. Washington at the turn of the century for the black community. And he talked about education, entrepreneurship, and self-reliance. And all of those cities that you see, such as Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, New York, you don't see that. First and foremost, we have to have better education opportunities. We need to come in with school choice, school vouchers, charter schools, and maybe even promote homeschooling in some instances. I find it very odd that the first black president canceled the D.C. school voucher program, but yet he sends his kids to Sidwell Friends. Education unleashes and unlocks opportunities. The other thing is, during the Reagan administration, we had Art Laffer and Jack Kemp talk about urban economic empowerment zones. So we have to get capital reinvested into the inner city so that we can have small business entrepreneurship once again. And most importantly is self-reliance. We have to break the tentacles of the welfare nanny state.
How do you get jobs back there? Bethlehem Steel gone, GM gone. Unrest, big companies not wanting to move into Baltimore.
Well, most importantly, you have to have the right tax policies that reignite production and manufacturing in this country so that we can get that growing again. We've got to start producing and manufacturing here in America and get those jobs in the inner city.
Get those blue-collar jobs back. Colonel Alan West, always great to see you here on Fox & Friends. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. You too.